What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I will be reviewing a beer from the Dogfish Head Craft Brewery, and they're out of Milton, Delaware, and this is their American Beauty Hazy Ripple IPA. So this is New England-style IPA. It comes in at 7% alcohol by volume, 35 IBUs at the time of review. This can is approximately 5 weeks old. So this is the second collaboration that they are doing with the Grateful Dead. The first one was their American Beauty Pale Ale that was brewed with, I believe it was granola and honey. I reviewed that last year. It was a live review, and I really enjoyed it for what it was. So when I saw this one, I was like, yeah, let's give it a go. Clearly a hazy IPA, New England style IPA, and yeah, sounds pretty good. On the side it says, this unfiltered IPA is brewed with the ancient heirloom grain spelt to cast a ripple of haze and dosed with a special yeast designed to liberate aromatic hop compounds in celebration of our long, strange trip together. See what you're doing there, Dogfish Head. I see what you're doing. So we got the hashtag proper glassware. Sometimes this has a little bit of dirty glass mafia going on, so we will see, but let's give it a pour, see what we got going on. So I'll pour the entire thing into this because this is a bigger glass, and we should be fine. So always produces a gigantic head, this glass. For even if, I mean, it was a little bit of, it was super aggressive, but even when it's not an aggressive pour, it's usually quite big, the head. So anyway, yeah, that's hazy. That has a, it's really weird. I don't know how it's gonna come off on camera, but down here, this is like a yellow, kind of like a lighter yellow color, and here it's like this is a hazy orange. It's really weird how there's two different colors to the beer. Has about a 3 to 4 finger, bright white, fluffy looking head. The head doesn't look all that creamy. It's just more of like fluffy, almost like soap sudsy. Yeah, super hazy. It looks like you would expect, although multicolored. That's weird how that is, but yeah, anyone's gonna know. Yeah, even though this head is huge, a lot of zesty citrus. Blood orange, like a really sweet, juicy blood orange. There's tangerine in here. Zesty grapefruit. A touch of like a peach apricot, almost like stone fruit vibe. It's very subdued and subtle. A little bit of like this dank, herbaceous, almost piney type of thing. I've been drinking, you know, some hybrids lately of like the West Coast style, New England style, and this has nuances of that. Like it has like a slight bittering aspect to the nose and a little bit of like pine resin. Definitely sweeter malts too. Just has like a nice sweet kind of malt base to it. I picked this one up, it was around 3 weeks old, and I unfortunately got the flu, so I had to sit on a lot of my beer for about a week and a half. So this one is around 5 weeks now, which is unfortunate that I couldn't get to it fresher, but 3 weeks to 5 weeks, hopefully it doesn't change that much and that it's not a completely different beer. Sometimes beers do that, especially hop forward beers, but a lot of times it really doesn't matter. It all depends. But yeah, this smells really good. So let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. It's been out of the fridge for about 20-25 minutes. So flavors compared to the aromatics, a little bit dialed back. First off, body on this one. For 7%, it's pretty impressive. I would say that this is like straight up medium to higher side of medium bodies. For 7%, like I said, it's quite impressive. It's a little bit bigger than anticipated. The mouthfeel, they've done a pretty good job with the mouthfeel considering the style. It's soft, it's smooth, slightly creamy, more of like just a soft, smooth character. It has probably more carbonation than most within the style do. But I think for what this is, a 7% New England style IPA, I think the body and mouthfeel are good. The taste though, yeah, zesty citrus. There's ruby red grapefruit, a little bit of sweeter grapefruit, but like more of the zest too. There's that blood orange, juicy blood orange. Tangerine, this is more citrus heavy in the taste. That stone fruit that I was kind of getting in the nose gets kind of lost. Yeah, halfway through the palate, that herbaceous dankness, almost pine resin character kicks in. Again, very subtle from the nose once again. That carries on to the back of the palate, where this finishes with a mild to moderate bitterness, semi-dry finish, and just a little bit of residual sweetness. Super easy to drink at 7%. It doesn't have a lot of really any kind of like alcohol qualities to it. There's no astringency on the palate. I don't feel anything in the chest. So 7%, they hide the alcohol quite well. I'll say this, the aromatics on this one, really nice. The taste, it's solid. It's disappointing because that happens a lot in beers for me, where the aromatics, especially when you dry hop a beer and whatnot, they're just screaming, right? They're through the roof, and then you drink it and you're like, wow, that's like 50% of what I was getting. And that's kind of how this beer is. Super easy to drink, really smooth, proper body and mouthfeel for the most part. It's just the aromatics where all that, juicy citrus qualities, little zesty citrus qualities, touch of stone fruit, that resinous pine, kind of like herbaceous dankness was there. But then I taste and everything's dialed back about 50%. Not a bad beer in the least, but I feel like this would be a very good, just like throw it in the 6-pack kind of beer, or throw the 6-pack in the fridge kind of beer and just drink it whenever you just want to grab a beer. You want a hazy, but you don't want something that's going to be super intense and just complex and whatnot. This is and I say this in so many reviews, but this is a drinking beer. Yeah, pretty solid. Nothing really to write home about for me. I want to say I think I enjoyed the American Beauty Pale Ale a bit more. I think the addition of granola and honey for me kind of just, I don't know, it was different. It was something unique to my palate, especially from Dogfish Head. This is kind of a hazy that they just did a solid job on. I don't know how this one was at 3 weeks old. This is 5 weeks old, so maybe some of the flavors fell off. But for me, drinking this one right around 5 weeks old, it's a good beer, but it's not a great beer. So I'm going to give American Beauty Hazy Ripple IPA from Dogfish Head a low 3.75 out of 5. I'm going to go 3.7 out of 5. I think that's a fair score. I think with the aromatics carrying over to the taste, this would have been 4, maybe to 4.25. But in the taste itself, too subdued, too dialed back. It's not, dare I say, bombastic. Shout out to Paul over at PaTroll News. This is just kind of like an easygoing New England-style IPA. Not much to write home about, but it's still solid. Nothing wrong with it. So price and availability on this one. Price point, I believe I paid $2.79 for that can. I believe that 6-packs of this were around $14.99. So for a 7% New England-style IPA, $15 a 6-pack might be a little high in comparison to other nationally distributed beers or bigger breweries, but that's not a bad price to pay for something that's 7% and is a New England style IPA. So I think the value is okay. The availability wherever Dogfish Head gets distribution, which is in a bunch of different states. So if you see Dogfish Head stuff, you should see this at some point. I believe this is a year-round offering now. So yeah, maybe I might grab a can of this and just drink it, not review it, and see if I can get something else out of it. Maybe if I find it around 2-3 weeks old, just to see if there's a difference when it comes to the actual date and whatnot and the age of it. So anyway, that was American Beauty Hazy Ripple IPA from Dogfish Head. I'm giving it a 3.7 out of 5. If you've had this one before, let me know what you think about it. I appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.